So I had a topic, but fuck that. Esau, what the fuck did you just show me?
Okay, so no, I'm not even gonna preface it. So I want a gal gamer to praise me is a volume of manga that I got recently. So I really, really, really needed a manga in a single day. I was getting the Frieren volumes, and I wanted them like same day delivery, but I needed to make a price threshold for that. And so I was like scrolling through all the same day deliveries, like I don't want this. This is ass. That says JJK on it, shit like that.
Yeah.
And then I passed this, and this has been on my digital library for a very long time. Never touched it because cute girl. You know me, cute girl. But it says words in Japanese, not what it says. And I went, oh, I'll buy that. And then I read the title, and I went, am I really gonna buy this?
I want your honest opinion.
On it?
Yeah.
No. I'll give you my dishonest opinion.
It's good.
I enjoy it. I genuinely enjoy it. So it's about a dude who dropped out, not dropped out, but he's like essentially like a neat. He's not going to school or anything. So he's divulging himself into games, but he's so ass at Apex. I mean Bpex, that he hires a coach, and the coach is cute girl from his school.
Sorry, that's a random pet peeve I have.
What?
When like writing, it's just like Bpex. It's like
they genuinely have the screen for Apex on the first page. They have a dude who's like, I think it's Caustic, Lifeline, and Wraith there. And like they're playing Apex, they're talking about it and everything.
Yeah.
And so she's just coaching him for like a couple hours. He like pays for for a coach, not her specifically, just a coach. And she was like, oh, she's coaching him. He's getting better. He gets a dub by like the end of the first chapter or whatever. Spoilers, I guess. And then they find out like they go to the same school. She's a year above him. And she's like, how come I've never seen you? He's like, oh, I just gave up after like a stint of like bad exams. And she's like, all right, like me and you can play again. He's like, yeah, I don't know when next time I'll be hiring you is though. And she's like, no, we're buddies now. Like we can just play together like homies. But you have to come to school. And I was like, oh wow, this is like a weirdly wholesome thing. Oh. And I was like, I read the title and I was just like, same.
I think what's funny is just like, it could be as wholesome as you want.
Yeah.
Oh, it's gonna be so hard to pitch.
Yeah.
Because you showed me that, and I paused for a moment, and I just all I said.
I didn't show it to him. I read the title, and then he looked at it, and he would like it was like a.
I want to reenact it real quick. You showed me.
I went. I can lend you. I want a gal gamer to praise me.
Esau, what the fuck is that? And then that's like.
And then he was like, no, don't tell me.
No, I said shut up. I said shut up. Let me turn the cameras on. I said, I don't want to hear a peep from you.
Yeah. For context, I was showing him manga I brought in case we wanted to talk about it. Specifically Dandadan. He was like, oh, do you have Dandadan Volume 3 on you by any chance? Because he's on Volume 2, or he just finished Volume 2.
I can't fucking find Volume 3 at any store we've went to.
I have it.
You do have it. So I will buy it online and just wait for it to get here. Because I want to collect it. I like Dandadan a lot.
It's missing a little bit more than it's hitting for me.
Who are the authors?
Of what?
Of Dandadan?
Yukinobu Tatsu.
Okay. So
they do the story and the art.
Oh, okay. So me and my friend were talking about it because
also called Manga.
I read I recommended her Dandadan.
Right.
And I also recommended Chainsaw Man.
I like how you recommend things you're like this far into. Like you don't even have your tip into its like peripheral vagina and you're suggesting
I've read enough that I'm like, I like it so far. I'm reading, and I always preface it with like, I'm on the first 2 volumes and I like it. And I read all of Chainsaw Man Part 1.
Yeah.
So I can recommend that shit.
Yeah.
For some reason, the app was saying that Fujimoto also wrote Dandadan and Chainsaw Man. So I was like, are they similar? Because they feel similar tonally at times.
They don't, like, not at all.
No. I disagree. Not like in the sense of like how they portray some of their themes. How willing they are to be uncomfortable is mainly the same thing. They're similar. Not necessarily presentation or story. Just like uncomfortability and how they let you sit in it for a little bit sometimes. Although I think Chainsaw Man does it better.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Dandadan is cool. I just think that it is a little too much at times.
I feel like they don't know how to do fan service. I feel like they're like,
I feel like your story about children should have no fan service.
I feel like they're like, oh, we'll put fan service here, and they just have like them without clothes, and I'm like, this also doesn't feel attractive. Why are they just naked?
Yeah, I'm gonna be 100% honest. real quick. Hey, if your story is about teenagers and you're doing fan service, fuck your fans. They're pedophiles.
Or the same age demographic as the people.
Still. You're a grown-ass man writing this story.
Yeah, but I'm not expecting a fucking teenager to write the story.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Fuck what the teenagers want. If a teenager wants to fucking boink it, they'll fucking watch porn. I'm not gonna draw fucking half-naked children regardless of the demographic.
Then why do you enjoy any of this?
It's always my least favorite part. Like I'm always critical of.
Like, you have Chain Soldier on this, man. Disgusting.
I didn't buy that. You literally put that on my shelf.
Yeah.
But like, let's use My Hero for example. Like, why the fuck are like they're like?
Why do they have skimpy outfits when they're in high school?
Yeah. Why'd you draw that? You're a fucking weirdo. Now
the worst part is like that. Like, that's not even like that. That's like one of the like more tame ones.
Mm-hmm. Like with Chainsaw Man, part of the sexual themes are meant to feel inappropriate, and it's for that reason that I think it's like cool, because it's like when Denji's being like assaulted, it doesn't feel good. He doesn't feel good about it like afterwards, and it's like it makes you think about it, and I like that. It's uncomfortable. Fucking something like what's a good example?
You're gonna love Berserk. You feel uncomfortable.
And that's the thing. It's like if you're portraying something like assault, manipulation, and it's uncomfortable and you're supposed to feel like shit, then it's done its job. It's not provoking.
Yeah.
Being like fucking horny as shit with like fucking... I haven't seen Fire Force, but I know it's like
Maki
criticized a lot for it. And it's like, yeah, why the fuck... I don't care if a high schooler is half naked. That upsets me. In fact, I do care. It upsets me, But I know that's a hot take because a lot of anime fans are pedophiles. Not all of them. There's some cool ones out there. Our fans. Anyone who really likes the podcast, hopefully not a pedophile.
If you're a pedophile, you're not a real fan.
Yeah, fake fan. What's it called? I got into an argument about something about lollies, like I usually do on like Twitter.
Yeah, you were in defense of them, and then somebody.
I don't like lollies. I was arguing with somebody about lollies, about how they are bad. And one thing that I always find interesting, right, is that the word lolly comes from the word Lolita, which comes from the book.
Lolita, which comes from
the book that is about someone who has an inappropriate relationship with a minor.
What are you talking about? According to J.K. Rowling, it's a love story, romantic love story.
J.K. Rowling. Can I be honest? My thing with it's just like, I don't know, die on a different hill, Like,
this isn't even a hill. This is a sword. Jump on a different sword.
Die by my sword. I don't know. It's just weird, and it's like, I don't know. It's like there's no point arguing with them because nothing I can say is going to change the mind of someone who finds a minor attractive.
Oh, absolutely not.
There's nothing I can do to persuade them. So it's like you're arguing with a brick wall. But it's one of those things where it's like I'm so passionate about it. We had somebody comment on our TikToks, right? And this is not about pedophilia, but it's something I'm passionate about. So I don't know. We don't really talk about what we do on a day-to-day, other than our hobbies with manga and stuff. But I'm an educator by day. That's my like new Yeah. And I brought up that, hey, this started with a manga discussion. Like, I like Full Metal Alchemist, or started with the anime discussion.
Yeah.
I like Full Metal Alchemist. I like the dub. It's not one of my favorites, only because like I don't enjoy it as much knowing a prominent voice, like the voice of Edward Elric, is Vic Mignogna, who is a raging transphobe with allegations against him for sexual assault. I never said anything like you can't like it. I never said the dub was bad. I said for me personally, it's a blemish, and I think there are other dubs that I like more. People get really upset with me for it. One guy particularly started saying nonsense, like literal nonsense, about platitudes. He's using big words he doesn't know, he doesn't understand, he doesn't fucking know how to use correctly.
I don't know why, but like you kind of went into a Trump impression. He doesn't even know.
Big words, he doesn't even know them. Sleepy Joe, laughing Kamala.
He'll come back. He always comes back. He's a FNAF fan.
Yeah.
You don't even get that reference.
But with this guy, he's just literally saying nonsense.
Yeah.
Like about he's like, oh, so someone has a different opinion than you or a different political opinion than you. You'll dismiss, his work, or you just won't like him. And I'm like, hey, dude, first off, you have a different political opinion than me. Like, that's something that's crazy. Like, trans people shouldn't have rights. That's a very valid reason not to fuck with you. You know?
That's also like less political and more like stupidical.
Yeah, you're right, Esau. Stupidical. Well, even things like the homeless crisis, right?
Right.
If you think like homeless people shouldn't have access to housing, oh yeah, that's a political statement, but that's enough for me to say you're a dickhead. I don't like you. So that's like one, stupid by itself. Two, the fact that he's just saying other things like the trans movement using people in power like teachers to indoctrinate the children. When the fuck do teachers have time to do that? And also, you're just saying shit because that's not a thing happening. If it was a thing happening, there would be more people bringing up actual evidence of it happening.
If it was a thing that actually happened, I feel like he would have just been in support of trans people.
There'd be more trans kids.
Well, even then, like, he would have been like, yeah, I learned about this in school. No, you didn't.
You didn't. And like, yeah, he was older. I look at his page. He was like an older dude, like in his 30s or something.
No kids, no wife, no life, no grife.
But it was really funny. His whole page is like political, dedicated to like taking out, any LGBT. But my thing is like, he says that, and I'm like, okay, you know what? I'm gonna make a whole video talking about my experiences as a teacher with using my, experiences, my degree. I'm just gonna talk about it. It's anecdotal for sure, but still, I have some, knowledge in the classroom. And I make a whole video. Ignores me. Just comments on someone else's thing, also bringing up how he's stupid. Comments to that, doesn't comment on my video at all. Because they're not willing to have a discussion by people who know what they're talking about.
Oh, absolutely not.
He's just saying shit.
How am I supposed to win if you're smart?
And I even was like, I'm not even going to give him the out of me being a dick. I'm just going to be as respectful as possible. That's the nicest I've been on any of the Read 'em and Weeb videos.
Oh, absolutely. Usually you're like, kill yourself, dumb fuck.
Yeah. And it's like, oh,
that's when
cool.
you're talking to me.
Yeah. Like, that's the nicest I've been on any Read 'em and Weeb video. It's just fucking like, being like, hey, I think you're wrong. This is why. Here's my experience that you don't have.
People on TikTok who comment on TikToks are dumb. Mm-hmm. So, like, completely unrelated to manga, I was scrolling TikTok. Someone was talking about, like, flaws in the human body. Like how we have a fucking optical cord going into our retina. Yeah. So there's a blind spot in our vision that our brain has to, like, kind of, like, phase out. That way we're not, like, constantly seeing, like, a black hole in our fucking vision. Mm-hmm. And one of the comments is just some guy, I don't have a fucking blind spot. And it just took me out, man. I was laughing and no one bothered. Like, a lot of people commented, but like the first one was like, yes, you do.
I don't have a blind spot. That's really funny.
Yeah. First of all, what are these?
Dude, my favorite thing to do is just like every time someone says something, I'm like, not me though, I'm different.
That's built different.
I'm built different.
That's what I meant to say. And then my brain just double reversed it. So I said built different. I was like, that's not what I wanted to say.
Peter Griffin. That's my favorite Family Guy joke, I think. Because just the random Griffin flying through always fucking kills me. Are they already here with the pizza?
They rang the doorbell.
So I had a little bit of a character development moment.
Great.
I actually went out to an outing. Ugh. I hate that. So my friend had a housewarming party, and I you know me, I get bad social anxiety. I don't like going anywhere. I think we can name the times that I go out on like a hand, because I legitimately don't like it. And so I was like, okay, well, they invited me to the housewarming party, I'll go. And I was also worried because like all my friends that were going have a +1, and I'm like, oh no, I'm gonna be bummed myself. And then, I go, my friend is trying to set me up with, like, she wants me to talk to her friend. And I was a little apprehensive about it for reasons that I'll tell you after the podcast. And I was like, okay. And then we're sitting down in a group. Her friend comes up, sits down with us, and then we're just talking. And then all my friends just fucking leave.
I love when people don't know what subtlety is.
No, they did it like more subtly than I portrayed it. Like, it was one by one. But like, actually, two of my friends just had to leave the party itself. But they just left the conversation.
Yeah.
And it was just me and her talking. And granted, the conversation went well. We actually knew of each other because we, went to went to college together. So, we're talking and like it was going fine, but the whole time I'm freaking out because I'm in a social setting talking to a stranger.
Like this flag is right behind me.
Different school.
Okay. But like you can say the school because they know the town.
I mean, by logo, sure. Anyway, so the whole time I'm talking to her, I'm feeling like mad anxious because like one, I'm in a social setting with people I don't know. She's pretty much a stranger to me.
Yeah.
So I'm freaking out. Not because I'm trying to get at her, but because I'm
trying not to make a fool of yourself just in general.
Yeah, but because my thing is like I'm really bad at talking to strangers without like a buffer. And I don't know why at a party setting it feels worse because if I'm just talking to someone randomly like, at work or at the store and, I'm making friendly conversation, that's fine because I'm never going to see them again. Yeah. This is like, this is like a person that I know or the person that knows a person I know. I don't want to say anything crazy, because I when I talk, I just say things, and like I just like say stupid shit.
No, I know.
Luckily, they were also saying some like funny, crazy shit.
Yeah.
So it was like kind of like okay, but the whole time I'm just thinking like, oh, I hope I'm not sweating. I hope I'm not stuttering. I'm way too aware of how my body is sitting on this chair right now, and by the time I got home, I fucking like was like so tired because I felt like my social battery was gone.
Me at my party.
And then my friend was like, so she's like, oh, my ride's here, I have to go. And I was like, okay. So like we get up and then she's like, well, it's cool seeing you. Gives me hug leaves. And then my friend, I walk in to the kitchen and my friend's just like, woo. I was like, what level of subtlety? And then my friend's friend is like, oh, what'd you think of her? And I looked at my friend. I was like, what the fuck are you telling people?
See, I don't trust people to set me up with anybody because you don't know me well enough. Like, nobody knows me well enough to choose someone for me. Mm-hmm. Even you, I would argue.
I would never say
like you might be the closest though.
I would know who if I met her, I'd be like, I know that this person would get along with Esau.
She said near. You're like, oh, I'm going somewhere near there. She said near. Esau, this is my work.
This is the most socially inept person I've ever met. Have you met my friend Esau?
This is the most socially inept person I've ever met. I can't introduce someone to Esau like this.
And my thing is like, on paper, she's really nice.
Yeah.
And I'm also like worried about how much I want to put of this I want to put in, because I'm like, I don't know who of my friends watches this.
Her. She watches it.
She's a big fan.
She's like, oh, that's weird. I went to that party too. I also went to nondescript school. And I was talking to him. All of those people did leave our group. Was it someone after me?
Yeah, I wonder who it was. It's probably Bethany. Fucking bitch.
Probably Biff.
And it is nothing about her is the reason I don't really want to, pursue anything. It's literally not her at all.
It's not her, it's you. I understand.
Yeah. And so because the conversation was fine, it just felt like a lot for me. And it's like one of those things. It's like, yeah, I'm gonna have to just kind of like get over that.
Yeah. So
it's like nice that I'm not mad or anything. I'm just like, looking back, I'm like, wow, that takes a lot for me. Like, why is that the case?
I'm very good spontaneously being in conversations.
And combusting.
If you ask me to go to like be like, oh, do you want to go to a party? I'll be like, no, I don't. But if I was suddenly in that party, I can make do. Like I brought this up, Maya's party, where I just didn't have a social battery by the time we got there because we had hung out before then to do shit. And I was like, I don't want to be at this party. And then we just had the worst time because someone who was there was the worst human being. But I was like there the whole time talking to her because someone had to.
Yeah. What a crazy day that was.
She has a kid now.
Really?
Yeah, I still talk to her actually. No, I don't know shit about her. I lied.
You're a good little liar. You're a silly little liar. Yeah, I think you're really good at like adapting.
Yeah.
And like my thing is like I feel like I am too. I just think it just takes a lot out of me.
Yeah.
and like I'm a little too aware of like things happen because when I'm with friends and like they're like a buffer for me, where I can just kind of sit back and be quiet. Oh, it's great. My friends were actively making me
interact.
The part of the you were conversation the starter, and I was like, oh, and then they just left. I was like, oh, fuck. And I don't know, it was fine. I had fun, and it literally was nothing like wrong that happened. I just remember being like just fucking tired, and we had to film Emily the next day, and it was a lot for me. But it was just one of those things where it's like I just need to like break out of that. I'm just a very like introverted and seclusive person. Like I tell my friends I don't text anyone fucking ever. Like I text you like a lot, and I fucking forget to text you sometimes.
Oh yeah, like we text like maybe like 4 texts each per day.
Yeah,
like that's a lot for us.
Yeah, and like that's all I do, and I'm like cool with that.
Yeah,
like I'll shoot a friend a text a day, and then it's like I'm cool with that.
Sometimes I'll just send him like bits, jokes, and he'll respond to all of them at like 2 a.m.
Lamau. And like
good bit. That was funny. I didn't notice those chicken nuggets until now. It threw me out of it.
What the fuck was that referring to?
The Wingstop. Things that were just at the corner.
Oh, yeah.
Someone's whole ass order at Wingstop just out in the open by a fucking crosswalk for no reason.
Yeah, that's funny. I'll put the picture on screen. The most I'll text somebody if I'm texting them a lot is like someone I'm dating.
Yeah.
That's it.
He'll interrupt our dates to text them. It's kind of actually annoying. It's a problem.
Sometimes I think about that. Like if I'm like talking to somebody, off rip because I'm on my phone a lot.
Yeah.
Like I don't have to tell you. You're just like he's talking to someone.
Yeah.
Other than that, I don't text a lot of people, and I'm not even like I prefer phone calls. I hate that too. I just like want to be to myself. Like I like it. That's why I'm so good at like editing out, like pumping out edits.
Editing out people.
Editing people out of my podcast.
You were gonna say.
Yeah. Because I'll just sit in my room and edit, and it's just nice because I don't like, and I think it's important to go out. That's why I still do it, and I still interact with people. But if it was up to me, I'd really just be like locked in my room.
That's how I am now. I'm not very like I'm very good at socializing, but I'm still pretty introverted. Like if you put me in like when we went to AX, I was just chatting it up with like some friends I met on Discord. We were suddenly besties, and I tried to drag this motherfucker with me, and he was like, maybe not.
And that one was not a me thing.
Oh yeah, no, that was definitely me. But I'm very good with the situations, but I'm just like time and place. The time is never. The place is not my room, so why would I ever go there?
well, my thing too is like not to say that I'm like a neat, like I'm not gonna.
Oh no, yeah, absolutely.
Like, my thing is like I will go out, and in fact, I like going out by myself. I love going to the bookstore by myself. I love going seeing movies by myself. I love going to restaurants and eating by myself. I love doing that. People think I'm fucking weird for that.
Maybe you should try more going to the gym by yourself than eating. Maybe. Sorry. He also does go to the gym a lot by himself.
Quite a bit.
Yeah. Sorry. just an emotional, unnecessary attack. Not even like emotional.
All my progress that I've made, I just feel like it's gone now. I just hit my next checkpoint for my weight.
That's great.
I was stuck at 235 for a long time. For a long fucking time. I finally hit the 220s.
Yeah, I've kind of relapsed. I'm back in like 210s.
I've noticed.
And so one of the drivers at my work, he's like, "Oh, you've gained weight," and I was like,
"Why would you say that?"
So like completely just I went, "Why would you ever just bring that up?" And I said that to him. He's like, "Oh no, like it looks like you've," and he was like so cheerful about it. I was like, "Brother, you're not like,
what's up, Chubbs?"
Yeah. The worst part is like I don't like we're not friends. Like I'm not friends with this driver. He's just a guy at my work.
Even if we were, I don't think I'd ever walk up to him and be like, "Oh, looking big."
Anyway, back to my story about me being in my room. So that's why I'm really good at like plowing through like series. No one's in the room except me.
You're right.
Plowing through like manga series. Like I can get them through them pretty quick because like that's the main thing I do. It's my hobby. It's my passion, my drive. But also like video game series. Me and my buddy did a game exchange where I would play through Dragon Age games and she would play through the Nier games. She's still on the first one. I have finished all the Dragon Age games. The last one took me 50 hours. And it took me like, I don't know, like a month and a half to do it at most. And she's been on that game for almost over a year. And in fact,
a long time to finish games too.
Yeah. You still have some of my games.
Do I?
You have Pokemon, I think, at least.
I do.
Maybe 2 of them.
No, just the one.
Just the one.
Yeah.
He's never gonna play it.
I will.
No, you won't. You don't have to. You didn't know you had it till right now.
Yeah, I didn't remember, but I do have it.
Yeah.
My thing with the
I got to get out there though. How else am I gonna get praised by a gal gamer?
my thing, I really like going up on myself. It's just so nice. It's like therapeutic because I think when I'm going out with friends, it's like it's fun. I still do it. I go out with friends a lot. I hate parties. That's the thing. I'll go with friends, like no problem. I'm usually the one to initiate us hanging out.
Yes.
So like, and that's fun. But I think social settings with people I haven't met, and I feel like there's like a pressure to like interact with people and like mingle, and that's just not me.
I'm very good at adapting to stuff like that, but like, why would I if I could just stay home? So if you invite me and I'm like, okay, this is something I would enjoy, I'll go. I'll like mingle. I'll like interact. I'll flirt with the girl. Fuck it.
They really, I know you'll do that,
but
they really don't like it at the family gatherings.
What can I say? Your family's hot. Like, I went over there and I met Davie and I was like, fuck. And I just kept making him uncomfortable. So we're not actually related. I don't know why you keep inviting me to these family gatherings. Like, cousins isn't
why
technically
are you calling
related.
Me brother? Keep calling me brother. I thought we were related.
Your joke overtook my joke. That's not fair.
I devoured you, Esau.
Fucking love Blue Lock, man.
Me too.
Anyway,
Blue
let's talk about
gay
manga.
As fuck.
Yeah, it's so gay and I love it. Let's talk about manga.
Okay.
You said you had a topic for this or no?
No.
Let's talk about good villains. We
Okay.
talked about heroes last time. I want to talk about villains.
I don't have a top 5, but I can talk about villains.
No. Let's talk about what makes a good villain. I don't care about
racist. It's very good, easy to hate him, like Frieza.
So, yeah, I agree. I feel like there are types of villains, and I like ones that are not evil for evil's sake, but evil for superiority's sake. They believe they're superior in every aspect of them, so that makes them a villain. I'm like, okay, I understand who they are, what they are, why, and I hate them for the reasons that make sense. There are also villains who are like Shigaraki. He's evil for like, he's like, oh, no one was there to save me, blah, blah, blah. I'm going to become the villain that kills the heroes. I fucking love Shigaraki. He's like one of those villains I'm like, I don't know why, but I like you. You brought up Frieza. Frieza's one of those villains I like. Villains that I'm like, you guys, you're just like here to be
like Boo
beaten. Well, like I would even say like Cell.
Yeah. No, you're right. Cell is on paper really not interesting.
Yeah, like the Cell arc is very like fun and great.
Well, what I think is interesting about Cell is that his whole existence to be perfect is flawed. Like the fact that he's like, yeah, like I'm perfect Cell, but also like,
why?
Yeah, it's interesting, but it's like not great. Boo's the fucking worst.
I hate Boo.
Boo's just like a force of evil. Which I like that Super is starting to kind of like, remedy that a bit, where it's like villains are a little more interesting. I said remedy that a bit, and be a little more interesting. Like the Granola arc is really good. I think the Moral arc is also pretty good. They brought Frieza back. I thought that was dog shit, but
I told you about that time we had a rat loose in our back room, and they're like, it went over here and then it disappeared. Esau, I gotta check under your hat. You've been acting kind of weird.
He said no.
I did. I was like, I gotta go.
Do human things like eat cheese and jack off. Yeah, that's Esau.
Can you get that bait out of that trap for me for the rat? I think he wouldn't like it. I have to make sure he'll like it. Great. Anyway, that was a bit. good villains. Like bad villains like that. I'm not really a fan of like any of the JJK villains except for Mahito or whatever his name is.
Yeah, Mahito.
Yeah, Mahito. I like him because of like his origins and stuff. Like like what kind of curse he is. Like some of those I like. I don't like some of them. I'm not even gonna bother with talking about them.
I like what's his name? Gojo's boyfriend. I can't remember his name right now.
I couldn't tell you either.
Yeah, I can't remember. I know it. I just can't remember.
He's
Toji's good. He was like an anti-hero more than a villain.
Yeah, he's an antagonist.
He did blow that girl's brains out though.
That's his job.
For no reason.
That's his job. It was a lot of money. Oh no, it wasn't. He was the one paying.
Yeah,
right.
There was no reason. He was in earshot to hear that they were like, you know what? You don't. Sorry, spoilers for JJK. He was in earshot to be like, you know what? We won't have you reincarnate into what's his name. We'll take you and we'll leave. You can have a happy life. And she's like, okay. And then he blew her brains out.
Then she was like, I want to live. And he was like, perfect. Die.
Yeah. Which is like, I don't know. He's cool.
Yeah. Other villain types of like villains that I like, I'm putting this one in quotes because forces of nature. Like the like demons. Like that don't have like a but are like just a problem. Mm-hmm. I like that. Just because I feel like a huge force of something like that feels more overwhelming than just an individual, especially if at the top there are people like with intelligence, like intelligent like demons and so on and so forth. Mm-hmm. I like shit like that. I like when the villain is someone that only the protag can really deal with, and not for like strength reasons, like Pain, for instance, right? Naruto. Or Nagito, right? Like Naruto is the only person who, sure, my guy could have blitzed all the pains, right? And then that's just a fucking corpse at that point. Naruto is the only person who could beat him on both a physical level and a mental level. Naruto was like, hey, I hear where you're coming from. I'm willing to hear you out. I still think you're dog shit. But I will take on that burden for you. He's the only one. And that's why I think Pain is so interesting. But if you have a villain like fucking Madara, who is just a fucking freak of nature. As cool as he is, he's just not interesting. I just hate the leaf. Like, his backstory is interesting, and I think Madara's come up to be, like, who he is. His backstory is really interesting, and his relationship with Hashirama is interesting. But his relation to Naruto and Sasuke just doesn't appeal to me. So I really like Madara because I too understand the pent-up anger and rage that would come up for a denial of a homosexual relationship with his boyfriend. Yeah. Yeah, like I get it. That's why he was my favorite. Me for real, King. Yeah. There are characters that are just like, that are villains that come back, and I'm just like, what purpose were we? Because my thing is like, I think Kabuto coming back to, like, you know, Edo Tensei, everyone is like, okay, but it's like Edo Tensei, bring back everyone to dead, the dead. But also just like, why was Kabuto brought back in the story? Yeah, I War Arc was bad. I don't like a lot of the Naruto villains. I don't like Itachi, and we agree on that. Oh, absolutely. I'm a fucking hater till I die. I think he should have leaned into being a villain more, because I feel like the intent was not to make him a good guy. It doesn't make sense retroactively, in my opinion. Like, I don't mind if you make him care for his brother. If he spared his brother because he loved him. Sure, that's a great thing. That still lines up. Yeah. You don't got to make him a good guy. Like, my thing is, like, Itachi cannot simultaneously be this hero while also putting Sasuke in a coma for, like, months, or, like, a month at least. It was a couple of days. Was it? How long was the Tsunade retrieval? Because they had to go. That was at least a week. Well, my thing too is they didn't know they would get somebody who could fix Sasuke. No one, Itachi was not going to know that they were going to find Tsunade. Yeah. Well, like, to be fair, like Genjutsu breakers, just in general. But Tsunade, like, was probably one of the only skilled people to do it that fast. Like, he intended to put Sasuke in that coma, watching his parents die over and over again for like a long fucking time. Yeah, there's no reason for Itachi to do that or any of that shit, dude. Like, that moment is what led Sasuke to go down the path he did, and like it broke him mentally. Yeah. Like, literally, he woke up and he was like, I'm gonna fucking kill Naruto. Yeah. What other things have bad villains? I brought it up, but I'm not really a fan of the villain of Full Metal. He's not bad. Father. Yeah, Father. Yeah. He's the
The sins are more
Yeah, the sins are where it's at, but like the main one, I'm just like, whatever. He's just a guy.
Yeah, and in that regard, he's like, I know
Berserk
it's intentional, but
has a great villain. I fucking love Guts Berserk.
Your Light in April has a pretty good villain.
I disagree.
Cancer.
Like, what are their motivations? Like, come on.
Yeah, why did she lie like that?
Why did
she is a villain. She's the villain.
She's the villain, man.
She's the villain. Fuck her. I think Monokuma's really, really, really good antagonist.
I like Monokuma.
Me too. I like him a lot.
Also,
as much
but
as
like
Danganronpa's
zero motivation, but I really like them. I feel like you can have bad, like that's evil for evil's sake.
Yeah,
like how
that works.
Yeah, like I was describing, like someone like Frieza. Like that's where Monokuma stands, and I'm like, he stands on the pinnacle.
Frieza's evil because he was raised to believe that he was better than everyone.
Yeah, he's a white supremacist. I get it.
Yeah, and that's like, that's enough.
Yeah.
And I think though Frieza's characterization, like going in Super, is like it's fun sometimes. Like Frieza wishing to be taller is a really fun thing to do for that movie. You know what I hate? Villains who are evil as shit, but then they have like a joke where they're like, "Oh, well, I'm not racist."
Be racist.
Yeah, but let him be racist. He's evil already. Unless it's a comedy.
I feel like it depends. So I feel like there's a difference between a villain and someone who is evil. If someone who is evil was like, oh, I'm not racist, I'm like, then what is your what's called? But someone who's a villain doesn't have to be racist. Like, let's take in Shigaraki. If he was like, yeah, and I'm racist, I'd be like, that's a little weird.
What the fuck?
Like, that would be weird if Twice came up and was like, oh yeah, I don't make clones of fucking black people. Like, I'd be like, what the fuck is wrong with this?
I'm not gonna lie, that would fucking like...
That would take them out of it.
Cause I'd be like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
And Frieza was like, I hate Hispanics. What?
But that would make more sense. Because he does. The Hispanics are like on the side of the Saiyans. Everyone knows that.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, you're right. It's like... It's like if Edward Elric just like was racist to like Ling.
Yeah, and so like if Father was like, oh yeah, I hate the...
I guess Ed wouldn't be.
Yeah, if... yeah, I don't know why you said Ed.
Sorry, I just brought him.
If Father was like, man, I hate the Ishbalans, I'd be like, yeah, it makes sense. Yeah, he's racist. Okay, he's the one who started the war. That adds up.
That adds up. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, he hates what is the country that Lin's from?
Jing.
Yeah, I hate people from Jing. I'd be like, all right, he's racist, and I'd be like, okay, cool. He does think he's superior. It makes sense.
Yeah.
But like Shigaraki is like not like I'm superior to different race. He's a hater.
I'm gonna kill all the heroes and the Jews.
Yeah.
Like what?
Like why? Now
I'm just thinking of that line and it would be so funny in different like contexts. We're gonna kill the Titans and the gays. Aaron, what? And then everyone's like, yeah.
To be fair, Aaron did kind of go nuts at the end. He might have done that. We'll talk about it.
This is spoiler.
No. Don't talk about that. No.
Okay, fine. We'll talk about it over pizza.
Who's your least favorite villain that you can think of?
Kaguya.
Who?
Kaguya.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Kaguya does kind of suck.
Kaguya's the worst.
Fuck, that changes my answer.
What was your answer?
Makima.
I like Makima. I understand why.
Oops, I mean the Gun Devil. Edit what I said out. I hate the Gun Devil because I don't like the... they kind of fall under force of nature. Like how I really like them. Except they're just too overwhelming.
You know what I found interesting about the Gun Devil, right, is the fact that I can buy that they would be that powerful. Guns are not a prevalent thing in Japan, which is why like it feels a lot more. I had to kind of remember that when they were like, "Oh, the villains have guns," and I was like, "Yeah, wait." I had to like remember that.
There's actually a scene like that in Steins Gate Zero. someone's like, guns in Japan, and I was like, oh wow, like, they're really like scared.
Yeah, no, I literally had to like kind of reread it.
Well, someone at Walmart was like, hey, where do you sell the guns?
Yeah.
Except he said it like, hey, man, like, where's like the guns and the like live ammunition? And I had to go, oh, we actually don't sell that, but if we did, it would be right there.
Different Walmarts. Yeah, I got here fucking twin pistols for you.
Except you shoot them with your pinky. Why does he do that?
Yeah.
The Kishin. I like the Kishin.
I do like the Kishin too. That's the force of nature that works.
Yeah.
Like
he's just like anxious, man. I get it.
Majin Buu is just the worst force of nature.
Absolutely.
I fucking hate Majin Buu.
I feel like if it was just Kid Buu, I'd be way more into it. But Majin to Super to Kid was so fucking dumb.
I think if it was just Majin to Kid, I'd be fine.
Yeah. Even like Super to Kid, the fact that it was all three of them and they all kind of suck.
Well, it was Majin to Super.
It was Majin to Evil to Super to Kid.
Well, Majin to Evil to Super to Gotenk Super to Gohan Super.
Well, yeah, but those are all just Super.
But they were leveled up Supers. It was just so many. And I hate it because realistically, yeah, I can buy that Gotenks got absorbed. Gohan getting absorbed like that is just like, why the fuck need you learn this lesson?
Piccolo.
And Piccolo too. That fucks me up. Piccolo has good hearing.
That's his whole thing.
And Gohan has amazing key sensory. Like Gohan's thing is that he can sense people's keys faster than like anyone as a kid.
That's my dad. Are you sure? Yeah.
Literally. Like no doubt about it. He's like, yeah, that's my dad. I know key.
The fact that you should be able to tell. Like, the fact that they didn't sense, like, hey, I'm sensing Majin Buu's energy from two different spots. That's weird. I mean, and by Majin, I mean Super. Like, you tell me that shit's just moving on its own?
Yeah.
Without ki?
Yeah, it needs ki.
Well, I don't know if it needs ki, but, like, it is magic.
It makes sense if it's...
Yeah.
Though I do like the name Bibbidi Bobbidi Boo. Yeah. So you get a point for me there, Dragon Ball. I don't know shit about Demon Slayer, so I don't know if their villain's good.
The villains are fine. It's like literally everything about Demon Slayer is like, oh, it's fine, but with like an up tilt to it. Not like it's fine. It's like, oh, everything is like, oh, it's fine. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I liked it.
I don't know what it is about Demon Slayer. Like I'm like, I have no desire to reread it again until I start seeing chapters on TikTok, and I'm like, oh yeah, that part was sick. But like it's every chapter.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I think a good villain is just someone that's just like is interesting. You can be like just evil as fuck and not have anything to you, but if you're interesting, it's fun. Yeah. Like Gurren Lagann, I would not say that the Spiral Nemesis is exactly the most interesting villain ever. Like literally another force of nature.
You mean the anti-spiral? Is that what you mean?
Yeah, the anti-spiral. Like Lord Genome is like cool too, but like
I disagree. I really like them as villains because of their
I agree. I like them as villains, but I wouldn't say like they're the most like interesting villains.
Oh yeah, I think Lord Genome would classify as interesting, but the anti-spiral, I'm like, okay, he's kind of just like basic, but like their motivations all make sense. I'm like, okay, I understand. This is a villain. What how would I say this? Like you're the villain who like I'm doing bad for the sake of good.
And what I like about Lord Genome is like he's like interesting in retrospect, where he's like, "You killed me, but I warned you that this was not the right decision." And then Simon having to deal with that part in part 2.
Yeah, it's so good.
You know my favorite villain actually. You haven't read it, but The Walking Dead comics.
You don't know that.
There's a character named Negan, and he's like popular in like pop culture, but
I've heard of him.
He is genuinely one of like my favorite antagonists.
Is he the one with the bat? Never heard of him.
He's like my favorite antagonist in like anything. I've been reading the Invincible comics. Those are very good.
I'm not a comic guy. They're just too complicated to get into.
Invincible's nice because it's just one continuity. It's just one same guy who wrote Walking Dead, but it's just one story. It's over. Read it. It's done. That's it.
I wish people wouldn't suggest things that are complicated to me. Like someone keeps suggesting the Fate series, which is like incredibly convoluted, and I'm just like, why would I ever? They're like, where do you start? And we're like, oh, well, where to start is complicated, and I was like, then I'm not gonna.
Yeah, my thing is like I always start from release order because like if it's complicated, well, that's just a fuck up on their part. I'm gonna experience it like everyone else did. My biggest pet peeve and then people are like, oh, start with this Kingdom Hearts game. No, dipshit, start with the first one, because it's not that it's complicated. It's that it doesn't give you information in chronological order.
Yeah,
for a reason.
That's how it is with Nier. People are always like, oh, you gotta play. So some people are like, oh, you want to play Automata because the ending of Replicant, the new Replicant, has ties to it. And I was like, yeah, but if you play them in order, you go, oh, this is like the ending of Replicant. Mm-hmm. And they're like small. They're like, it's literally like the smallest thing that ties in. Meanwhile, if you played in the proper release order, or not release order, but like the original release order, so Replicant's just a remake.
Yeah.
Replicant, Automata, so many things in Automata, you're going to be like, holy shit, my life has changed if you do it in order. Mm-hmm. And I'm just like, who is the motherfucker? But the thing is, you can play them in reverse order because they're so isolated.
Yeah.
It is genuinely complicated, but it's not complicated on where to start.
Yeah. It's different than a game than like Final Fantasy, where you can pick up whatever, because they're all individual like stories.
I heard Final Fantasy like what 1 through 5 is going to be released like as a set.
I think so.
And like I'm like, I could play them in order. That's the only reason why I don't like want to like play Final Fantasy, because I can't play them in order.
One's kind of dog shit.
Yeah, that's what I heard. So someone was suggesting Final Fantasy. I think it was way back when like 13 came out or something in college. I don't know when but when in college someone was talking about it, and I was like, I don't want to get into Final Fantasy because like I want to start in order, and everyone was like, ooh.
Final Fantasy is kind of fucked because Final Fantasy 1 that we got here was 4. So they had to retroactively release 1 again.
1 for real this time.
Yeah, pretty much. So we got 4, 5, and 6. So 3, R3 is their 6 and it is the best one. Or one of the best ones. Final Fantasy 6 is really good. I played that one, it was really good. I played 9, it was good. 10 is alright. I started 7, never finished it. And then 1 was pretty bad and I didn't even finish it.
I'm going to ask you a question. You're going to have 4 seconds to answer it.
Okay.
You just took a dump. You have no toilet paper. You run into his room and you grab one book off the shelf to use as toilet paper. Which one do you use?
Time Stop Hero.